Information, education, motivation, real life, real topics. Welcome again to Cayman Conversations, now streaming on Caymanian Times Facebook and YouTube channels, and also live on Bobo FM 89.1. Sunday is Father's Day, and we have dedicated today's program to all fathers and also mothers who have assumed that role of father. Enjoy the conversations and have a great weekend. Well, let's say good day and welcome to Keith and Patricia. How are you doing, folks?
Hi, Ralph. Thank you for having us on your show. Hi, Keith. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, and thank you, Ralph. It's an honor to be a part of your show today.
And it's my pleasure, And I love this technology. StreamYard, you can stay here in the Cayman Islands and talk to you with Georgia and Patricia somewhere else in the island. But that's how it works these days. And so thanks for technology. Wonderful. Patricia, it's really great to see you. I know you reached out to me, and we'd like to tell our listeners that they can do the same thing. And you had some great news you wanted to share, and you want to introduce me to Keith and just tell us what's Keith's connection with you right now.
Well, Keith and I started working together in January of this year. The All Pro Dad program is a program that I was aware of for quite a number of years. And as I was returning home last year, for some reason, it just came to me, why don't I reach out to this organization and try to see if this could be a part of our community here in the Cayman Islands. I looked into the organization. I sent a request for more information, and Keith was the person that responded. And it's been a union ever since. Been trying to get the program here in Grand Cayman. So with this appearance today, we're hoping to get the information out there to the public and also bring awareness for our officials that they will gain some form of interest in looking into the program a bit further and talking to Keith.
Of course, and as a dad myself, I welcome this conversation because it's so important. Now, Keith, we can switch over to you.
Yes, sir.
You met Patricia and you've been working with her. Tell us more about yourself and your organization and what you do.
Well, first of all, Ralph, like yourself, I'm a dad. I have two grown daughters. And when I was, actually it was when my daughter was in kindergarten many, many years ago, I was volunteering at the school. My wife was a teacher at the school. And one of the teachers just mentioned to me one day, and I was able to volunteer because of my work schedule with the fire department at the time. I spent a lot of time volunteering at the school because that's where my family was. It was where I wanted to be. But one of the teachers said, it's just different when you're here, when you're the volunteer. And I wasn't quite sure how I wanted, how to take it. I wasn't sure if it was a compliment or a cut. So I kind of challenged her on it. I said, well, tell me, what is it? She said, well, when you're in the classroom, when you're with the students, when you're around the school as a volunteer, the boys seem to sit a little straighter. The girls are a little more attentive. She said she just couldn't put her finger on exactly what it was, but it was just a different air in the room. And then I said, well, is it like that when the other dads are here? And she said, oh, we never have dads. And that was when it really kind of struck me. And at that particular school at that time, I looked around and realized that in that school, even the custodian was a lady. And it really dawned on me that those students really never had a chance to have some positive male role models during their normal daily routine because there just weren't any in the building, and certainly not downplaying the role that the teachers and that the moms were involved in the PTA and were doing a phenomenal job, but there was just something missing. So I really got more of a passion for being involved in doing this. I went to the principal. We tried to do, what most guys in my position would do. We tried to do it on our own. And it was just difficult to what I now know as reinventing the wheel. We know there are programs out there that are able to bring in a level of engagement And it's just been an honor and a privilege to be able, for the last now almost 14 years, to be able to do that kind of work. I retired from the fire department in 2019, and I now do this full time. And it's just such a privilege to be able to have someone to tell me things like, we don't have dads come to our school. Our students, just don't have dads. I've heard that so many times. And to be able to say, let's take a look, let's look at our messaging, let's look at how we do things, and then watch the face on that school administrator when 25, 30, 45, 50, 100 guys come walking in the door, to just be there for just that few moments. Sometimes with our program, it's a breakfast event before school. Come on in, have some time with your kids, tell them you love them, tell them that you're proud of them, and just encourage them to have a great day. And a lot of times it really changes the dynamic of a family when you just take that few minutes and just look at things a little differently. When the school administration looks at their messaging a little bit differently, it changes the dynamic.
Yes, and you're so true. I have a few things to say, but let's see what Patrick has to say about that.
Well, Keith, I think it's very important for us to note where you have chapters located with this organization. Us being a British dependent territory country, I know you said there was 1 or 2 chapters in our mother sovereignty of the UK. So you could elaborate on that a bit more for us, please.
Certainly. This program started in Tampa, Florida. It was actually, if you're familiar with American football, Coach Tony Dungy was one of the co-founders. He got together with a gentleman named Mark Merrill 25 years ago. This is not something that's new. 25 years ago, they got together and decided they wanted to do something for dads to be able to be better engaged with their kids. Work together with the Hillsborough County school system, and over the years, we've built this up. Currently, we have just short of 1,500 chapters. Mainly across the U.S., of course. We're in 46 states. We have chapters, 2 chapters in London. We have had chapters that in South Africa. We have had chapters in Canada, and probably one of my proudest international chapters, until we get Cayman chapters up and running. We do have a chapter in Cairo, Egypt. So this is something that, because the resources are easily available online, the curriculum is available online, this is something that is very simple to do. We don't have to ship you anything. We don't have to send anything back and forth. Everything is able to be done online. So this would be something that would be very easily to bring on board in Cayman.
So it has to be implemented into the regular school curriculum, is what you're saying?
That's normally the way it runs, but there can be independent chapters. We do have some churches that run chapters. We do have we have some homeschool families that use our resources. So it doesn't have to be a part of the school, but that is our best model, to be able to have these events at the school. As I said, generally they are a breakfast event before school. Believe it or not, the guys will come out as early as 6:15 or 6:30 in the morning to spend some time with their young ones at the school, and then still be able to make it to work on time. So yes, it's primarily a school program. We have a lot of school districts that are now using us as part of their family engagement program. Of course, here in the state, there are federal mandates as a part of the federal funding where they have to provide specific programs to let families be engaged in the school. And a lot of the school districts are bringing us on to be able to meet those mandates.
Well, if I can just jump in right here. I remember in my younger days as a parent, and there was a challenge with getting fathers to attend Parent-Teachers Association meeting, PTAs.
Absolutely.
And so when I was the president of one such school, that was one of our efforts to try and get dads, and it was a challenge, and there was a concern of having more fathers at those PTA events, and I can see where some efforts from a chapter such as this can help in that area, because it's hard. There are always
It is.
and a reason why dads can't attend. But if they can see where other dads overseas and other places around the world are making efforts to join forces and they see the benefits of it and have some information that you're sharing out there in the open, I think that this will encourage them that
Absolutely.
should
Absolutely,
make every
Ralph. And
effort to.
I'm glad that you bring that up, because that is exactly what we do. Because if you look at our culture in general, generally, we see that it is the mothers, the lady teachers that have been carrying the ball, I guess you would say, for decades. And it is always in old school culture. The guys, the dads were out. We were out bringing in the living. We were out there, the guys were the ones that were bringing home the check, and it was the moms that were,
Yes.
raising and rearing the kids. Well, obviously, our culture has changed, and that has flipped. Probably a majority of the moms are now working outside of the home, and
Right.
we've not done a real good job of making that cultural transition of saying, we know that the moms have been doing a phenomenal job in supporting schools, and we kind of bypass the dads, and schools generally kind of overlook and undervalue the contribution of the dads, because we
Yeah.
weren't there before, and we need to be able to make a welcoming and an inclusive feel to let these guys be a part. And when we specifically use a program like this, the guys, they've got to say, hey, they understand this is for you. This isn't
Yeah.
something that you can pass off to mom. This isn't something that you can let somebody do for you. This is a direct invitation. You're welcome. You're included. We need you to be a part of your child's education. And when we make it real simple, it's just breakfast. It's just come in, grab a quick breakfast, get a great message, and still make it to work on time. It's been so simple. I mean, we have literally had, hundreds of thousands of male role models that have come in and been a part of this, this very simple event. And we know that it's not always going to be dad. It's not always going to be that biological
That's
dad.
my next
Um,
question.
and exactly. And we want the schools to understand this is an inclusive program that is welcome for any student in the school.
Right.
We really want those students to invite somebody. So it could be a
Some
grandfather,
male figure, father
uncle,
figure,
absolutely, a coach,
uncle.
a teacher. In some case, it is mom. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that nobody is excluded from this. This is, everybody is welcome to become a part of this and participate in this.
Well, Patricia, what is your hope and where do you see All Pro Dads fitting into the Cayman Islands?
Well, I wanted Keith, if he was able to get an update of how successful the program is in London, if he might have caught up with that, kind of give us an idea of how the organization helps fund this program with the countries that want to become chapters, and kind of give us an idea of what the program is. Is it something more of a standard educational curriculum? Is it interactive, fun sort of thing, or a mixture of both, so people can get a better idea of what that is all about? Caymanians love fun. Residents on these islands love fun, interactive things. So that's very important.
Absolutely. Well, right now I don't have that information in front of me on the London chapters. I do know that there was some discussion about partnering with the Metro London Police Force as far as helping support that and making that that interaction there. But I can certainly get that to you. But as far as funding, we are a nonprofit organization here in the States, so that gives us the ability and the horsepower, because we have a very significant number of donors here in the States that fund this. We also get government grants in the states of Florida, Texas, Indiana, and soon Tennessee. So the background of this, the back end of this, a school in Cayman would not have to pay for that. There's only a $100 registration fee per school year per year, not per family, per school. So we could, realistically grow this program across all of the schools in the Cayman Islands for only $100 per school. And that would be for the full school year. And that would give you 10 complete curriculum sets to have 10 of these events.
And I can see that there are many of our residents will be very interested in this. We understand the importance that men play in the lives of children. And I'm sure that the business owners, even the educators and our own government, and would be interested in this. And like, I want to thank Patricia for actually bringing us here, talking about it. And I think you just need some momentum behind you to get this thing happening, get the word out there. And that's what
Absolutely,
Cayman
Ralph.
Conversation is all about. Let's start talking about it. Actually,
Right.
there's a talk show that's on the same radio station tomorrow by my friend Robert Lynch talking about dads
Okay.
in children's lives. So it just, we all are realizing
And
it is so
Father's
important.
Day is coming up in a few weeks also.
That
So
is coming up exactly,
this is all coming
and
together at the right time.
but we've said so over and over again that fathers play a major
Major role.
role in
Yes.
children's lives, and
Yeah.
we've heard it over and over again. And these kind of programs, Keith, can really emphasize it and show us how to get it done, how to get the message across. And I'm
The
so
the,
happy
the
that you were able to
dynamics
talk
the
about
dynamics of having a program like this in a culture such as ours is, historically the Caribbean is known for having male family members, step into play dad's roles. And I think this is one of those programs that our local men, our local Caymanian men would love to be a part of. Uh, Despite the fact many may not be in the actual home of their children, I have seen over the years that more and more fathers are becoming more involved with their children, and wanting to do more, be more interactive. And I think this program would very well fit in right in there at this time in Cayman society to bring all of that together, you know. Our children needs this more now than ever. Women are becoming more involved in a more magnified way. And I think, men naturally need encouragement and push and drive. They need something to give them that working towards to feeling. And I think this program would be one of those, especially if it's free per se. It doesn't have to come out of the parents' pockets or anything like that. And another thing I needed to ask, Keith, is this a program that could be done at lunch, after school, as opposed to breakfast time? And we consider some male figures or some male persons or dads may have
Absolutely.
different time frames working and schedules and so forth.
Absolutely. And the beauty of this program is really the program is run locally as the local school administrator sees fit. So if they wanted to have evening events, if they wanted to have lunch events, breakfast events, that's totally up to the local school administrator. We have one school district in Texas where they'll have a in-person event in the morning and then turn around and repeat the same event virtually in the evening and get a whole different audience. So it really, this program is capable of being presented virtually very easily, which I think is the main reason why we survived the pandemic so well, where some of the other
Right.
programs didn't. We flipped this thing virtually by April of 2020. We were up and running virtually. So we had a considerable number of schools that just, they never stopped. They just continued with the program. One of the other things I wanted to mention, Patricia and Ralph, is that we are launching a new program starting this fall that will focus specifically on grades 6 through 12. So we will have the option coming up in the new school year for schools that would want to use our program with a curriculum that is specific for grades K through 5, and then another program which would be grades 6 through 12. Obviously, it's geared more for the older kids, and I think we'll probably all agree that that's when fathers and father figures, positive role models, really need to lean in harder with our students to be able to be those positive role models, so that they don't get too far off track as far as behaviors and such.
And is the program available only for public schools, or can it be used for private schools also? Because we have a lot of private schools here.
Public schools, private schools, churches. As I mentioned, we even have homeschool families that use the curriculum
Right.
as part of their in-home education. So yes, it's it would be very easy to operate in a private school, public school, charter school. I don't know if that's in your model in Cayman or not, but realistically, anywhere that you can get a group of folks together, you can present this material.
Okay. Now we've heard about the program. How can it benefit the Cayman Islands, or how did it benefit the U.S.? Let's show how important this program is to the wider community.
Absolutely. We've been very fortunate to have a partnership with the University of South Florida, which I know Patricia's going to be happy to hear that. And I wanted to mention that to you, since I
Yeah,
know
that's
you,
good news.
as a
We have
proud
a lot of
Polanco.
Caymanian students graduating from USF
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. So USF did a study on our impact on family engagement and on literacy, and improving reading scores throughout the state of Florida. So some of the statistics that have come through are very good, very positive on those numbers as well. So if anybody would be interested in seeing that study, or at least I do have an infographic that kind of lays that out. So I would be willing to provide that as well.
Well, I can say, Ralph and Keith, that I think all of our officials that are governing the Cayman Islands are parents and grandparents, and I know it is a priority. Family dynamics and helping families come together, remain together, foster. So I am quite sure, I won't be sure, but I am almost certain that as this information gets out, our officials will develop a keen interest in this program and want to find out more. From what I've known about the program so far, I think it will build that gap in our society, to draw fathers and father figures more into our young men's lives as they're growing. Of course, like you said, the studies have shown that father figures playing a role in young men's lives and young girls from a very early age creates a certain substance in a child. And I think this program, I feel very confident that this program is that gap, that bridge that will build that gap. And I also think it will make learning fun for students and their fathers also, because especially maybe the online part. And of course, when breakfast, if they choose the morning breakfast is thrown in there, I think it's going to do very well for the Caymanian society. Considering where we're at, there's a lot of emphasis on family with our officials here now. And that's a good thing. Again, this is where this program would be very beneficial to our community.
I agree with you so much. And yeah, I'm not letting the government off the hook, but I also think that there are many organizations that can get involved.
Yes,
The Lions, the Rotary.
exactly.
We are lucky enough to have many groups who have been committed to the community, and the government alone can't do everything. They have their hands full
Absolutely.
trying to deal with inflation and everything else. And so, yes, we need a support, but also if you can get all the other groups, non-profit organizations, like you mentioned, to get involved with focusing also on helping fathers be better dads, I think we will achieve a lot. And most of those gentlemen I know in those groups have families of their own, and
Right.
we can be role models. And
Right,
I
and that's
believe
why I wanted to get the
that's
information out too, because other organizations, like you said, can get involved. Other
yes,
community persons may want to get involved, and it's all collectively done together. Because of our community, we wanted everybody pitch in and make this happen. I think
yes,
it can happen, and I know Keith is very excited. Tampa in itself plays a very historical part in the Cayman Islands, with shipping and many Caymanians living there and going to school there. So here again, it's always something that's coming up that says this is something that we can make happen, you know. So
I
I
totally
think
agree.
as we get this out there, that we'll start seeing some doors opening
So,
in
so
terms.
how can we contact yourself, Patricia, or even Keith to get information? In case someone wants to, like, hey, I want to start something, I want to register, I want to be involved with part of this, who can they contact locally, or can they go direct to Keith?
Well, I can give my information, and of course, whatever.
I would say that they can go directly to our webpage, which is
Right.
allprodadchapters.com. Once again, that's allprodadchapters.com. And when they get to that webpage, they're going to be able to make a choice of if they want to see information as a parent or as an educator. They're very similar, but there's some of the information is a little bit different because an educator is going to want to look at how is this going to benefit my school, and of course a parent is going to want to look at how is this going to benefit my family. So that information it will lead them to a page where they can put their information in there, and that information will be forwarded to me. One of the things that Patricia and I have talked about is because she is really our contact on island, that I would certainly love to work with her as far as any contacts that I make. So I would stay in communication with Patricia as far as anyone that I would be dealing with on island.
And of course, Keith would be willing to travel to the Cayman Islands.
Oh yeah,
if he
absolutely.
needs to present himself in person in the program in person, a demonstration. Who wouldn't want to come to the Cayman Islands, right?
I haven't been in many years, and I would love to come back. I would definitely cherish the opportunity. I think it's one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Well, that's great. Well, folks, we're just about ready to wrap up. Had a great conversation. Anything else you'd like to add, Patricia, before we say goodbye?
No, I'm just appreciative of you for allowing us to have this segment on your show, and it's been very informative. I hope that it will produce some positive results, and if we need to come back again for a follow-up, I'm sure Keith is willing to do that. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed and look forward to something happening.
Absolutely. And of course, myself and on behalf of my team, we are very excited at the possibility of being able to support Cayman families and schools. And we would love the opportunity to do it. Just give us a call, look us up on the webpage.
Okay, great. Well, Patricia and Keith, I want to thank you all for coming down to
Thank you very much.
Conversations and being here and talking so much about this important topic.
Thank you very much, Mel.
Is what I want to be. And all for that, and I'm sure that many men, and we want to encourage others.
Right.
Thanks once again. And we hope to see you again, Keith.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Maybe we can have someone here from a community organization to be a part of this. And at that time, you'll be here to say, okay, well, we made it happen. And Patricia will be smiling.
I know, Minister Ebanks, he's pretty responsive to these things. He's a very big-hearted person. So you might follow up with him, Ralph, and see what he says.
All right. Well, take care and enjoy.
Red light.
Troubles away. La la la. Yeah, yeah.
Good afternoon, Nikki and Tim, and how are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Ralph. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
It's great. I'm just feeling so hungry right now. Maybe I have to come on down to the brasserie and have lunch. But after this conversation,
Well, after the show, you must.
I must have
So,
it.
we're just sitting in this beautiful day in Cricket Square. We're just sitting in the brasserie's garden right now. You can see sort of the beds and the produce behind us. So forgive any kind of background noise we've got going on, but we felt this was the best place to speak to you from today.
I am so happy. I remember walking past that area and I couldn't figure out what was under those green tents. Didn't realize that it was the same food I was going to be eating when I went to lunch. But this is where we can step back 25 years and tell me something about the history and what's this big celebration all about.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, 27 years ago, ground was broken in Cricket Square, and the first building here was the pavilion. But very soon after that, the restaurant opened. So the brasserie is the heart of Cricket Square. It's really the home and the driving force for the farm to table ethos that populates all of the outlets here. And the vision really, I think, was to provide really great locally grown food for Georgetown, for residents, and then for this growing business community here in Cricket Square.
And who's your guest with you today?
So Tim has joined me. Tim Heath is our manager of wellness across Cricket Square. It's really kind of, again, at the heart of everything we do in terms of creating a space throughout the Cricket Square that really is driven in wellness. So you'll see that through our landscaping, little pockets where people can sit and relax and take a break from their desks, and then our whole kind of wellness program that Tim leads.
Okay. Well, welcome, Tim.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So what types of food do you serve in the brasserie?
Yeah, so this is the really the ethos is farm to table. So you can see just a small selection behind us of what we grow on site. But we're like the early Cayman pioneers of farm to table, working very closely, growing our own produce, but working very closely with local farmers, which we continue to do today. So we have an entirely seasonal menu. It changes daily. The chefs here, so our chef de cuisine is Artemio Lopez, who's very familiar, I'm sure, to lots of your listeners and viewers. And then our executive chef is Chef Dean Max, who is based in the States but visits us very frequently and has a long string of amazing awards and accolades to his name. Has a career with several Ritz-Carlton properties, Pink Sands in Bahamas. And so he and Chef Artie come up with that seasonal menu. And it's all driven by what's growing behind us and by what the produce that grows at our Cocoa Bluff farm and plantation. So in addition to the beds that you see behind me, where we have fruit and vegetables and edible flowers growing, all throughout Cricket Square, you'll see that we have fruit trees. Even the bushes that are running along the side here are Suriname cherries, which we make sort of a bunch of different things. Like, so we make a jam out of that. We make an amazing sangria from Patanga sangria, which comes from the Suriname cherries. And a lot of our shade trees here are fruit bearing or vegetables, and they all get used across the menus here. In addition to that, we are also home to Chateau Chooks, where we have over 100 chickens, our layers. At the moment, we have close to 200 chicks. So it's an overload of cuteness in Chateau Chooks at the moment. And not only do they produce and provide the eggs for the restaurant, but actually we use their shells for composting. We fertilize our produce with our chicken manure. And actually, they are a fantastic addition to us in terms of recycling the food waste that comes from the restaurant. So they have a pretty rich and exciting diet of local produce. We have our Cocoa Bluff plantation, which has over 200 cocoa palms on it. And you'll see, if you look at the menu, there's quite a heavy coconut influence that goes across all of our outlets. So we use the coconut produce from there. It's also a location where we grow more fruit and vegetables. And it's also home to over 50 hives where we produce our brasserie honey. So our brasserie bees are hard at work producing not only honey, but also a lot of wellness products and products that you'll see that we sell in the market. So that's everything through from the sort of raw, fresh honeycomb through to we have some mosquito repellents, some flu products, other wellness products, beauty products that are created from the Brasserie Bees products, and they're all on sale here. Yeah, and then as we've got the local produce that's growing around us, and then finally must tell you about Brasserie Catch 1 and 2. So you'll see that our menu frequently daily features fish specials. We have 2 fishing boats. They go out daily and they bring back the most sustainable and freshest catch that you find on the menu every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is farm to table so important?
It's important for a number of reasons. I think more and more people are concerned about where their food is coming from, and there's a real focus, I think, in recent years. I think particularly as we came out of the pandemic, and during that, as you know, actually, how do we grow our own and how do we source local food? And I think people are very concerned about carbon emissions and what it takes to bring produce to the table. And then on top of that, actually, your freshest, most flavoursome produce is when it's been picked and it's served just a number of hours later onto your plate. So it's not a new concept at all. It's actually very kind of embedded in our culture and pretty traditional. But we're seeing more and more of a focus on it. So we really do consider ourselves to be the pioneer in this, having founded the restaurant 25 years ago, and it's that being really the driving force, not only for the brasserie, but for the market, for Caboose and for Juiced and the Wicket. But we're really excited to see more and more people concerned about this, more and more people growing their own produce. We get a lot of questions and inquiries from people with asking for advice on how to grow fruit and vegetables. We're seeing it become an integral part of more and more restaurants on Ireland as well. So that's pretty exciting.
That's great. Actually, our previous guest from the UCCI were promoting their health fair on Wednesday, and actually we're talking about wellness and the strategy of the new minister. Instead of taking care of the sick, why not encourage wellness? So here I'm seeing this is where we need to eat healthy, and this is perfect for what we're talking about today. That the food that you grow is fresh, and actually I started a diet on this type of foods. It's always good to have those that are not preserved, and have all those pesticides and so on. And Chef, can you tell me about the importance of healthy eating?
Yeah, no, I think it goes without saying. I think Nikki brought up some really salient points in that the benefit of nutritious and nutrition in general, making sure that we're consuming foods that are nutrient rich and low calorie. When I'm coaching someone in terms of, and I'm not a dietitian, but within my scope of practice, I can give nutrition guidance is the way that it's worded. And when I'm coaching someone, I'm telling them about this concept of volumetric eating. And what that means is, our stomachs are only so big, right? You want to fill up your stomach with things that they take up a lot of space. However, calorie-wise, they're lower in calories. And so the best way to do that will be through your fruits, through your vegetables, as they call in some places roughage, right? This is what will give us the most bang for our buck in terms of helping us to maintain a healthy weight, but also to make sure that we're getting the vitamins and the nutrients and the minerals that our bodies need to be able to operate on an amazing, optimally. Everything from energy levels, sustain energy throughout the course of the day, to even neurology sees your synapses firing, faster and more efficiently, and your thought processes are so much better. And that's not obviously just from working out, but it has a lot to do with how we fuel our bodies. And so that's what one of the things that I love about being here in this environment is that we're surrounded by this culture. We're creating a culture of wellness that extends outside of just working out. And I think for the longest, when I started in the industry about 20 years ago, the concept of wellness really wasn't there. It was just working out and maybe nutrition. But now we've evolved with this greater understanding of this is truly it's a holistic approach, mind, body, spirit. It's financial, it's it's ecological, and it's your environment, it's social, it's relationship, it's all of that. So to be a part of this is something special.
And there's a future for long life, from what I'm hearing. Like you said, Nikki, going back in time, this is how our parents grew up. I remember growing up in a family where there were chickens outside.
Yeah.
And we had a little backyard garden, as we called it. We called it green bananas were right there in the stream. And we actually ate all the food from our yard. And my parents lived long years, they past 80.
Yeah.
And they were healthy. And, it's like, this is what we grew up with. But somehow we went astray. But it's good to see that here in the Cayman Islands at the brasserie, we're coming back to our roots.
I think one of the other really exciting things about it is because all of our produce is seasonal and it's locally grown.
Yes.
You're going to discover things on the menu here that you often don't see in other places. I've marveled at our agricultural team in here who are growing, everything from guava to star fruit to ackee to the Suriname cherries that we talked about. So not all of them are indigenous, but they are locally grown, and actually nothing in here goes to waste either. So we have a huge herb garden, which you can see some of it growing behind me. Any herbs that aren't used, we dry, we put them into stock. We have a bakery on site, so any bread that doesn't get sold, that gets turned into breadcrumbs.
Right.
I mentioned that the food waste from the restaurant is not waste, it's very much used to feed our chickens. So there's this real cycle that kind of happens through here, and the menu is always changing. I think we made reference to Juiced, which is at the Wicket. So we have a juice bar on site as well, which is on the Wicket Green.
Yeah.
And that is open from 7 a.m. every day. And again, it's all seasonal produce and fruit that happens through there. We've recently bought in a trapiche, which is a sugarcane press. And so the team now are making fresh sugarcane and juice syrups on site, which again, because there are no preservatives or, it's all natural ingredients that's going into the menu here, and a lot of thought surrounding that. And it's great to eat delicious food and feel good about it. And actually extends into our cocktail list as well. So if you want to come down and have like a garden gin and tonic, you'll find it full of full of goodies from the garden. So like the fresh peppers and herbs and our team behind the bar are very creative in terms of incorporating all of these ingredients into our drinks as well, which is fun.
Yes. Tell me about the Cricket Square complex. I remember going there from when I used to work at Cayman National Bank. The brasserie was the only restaurant. Now, there are many others. And I could understand why, because the brasserie is so small with such good food, you're probably going to get filled up very soon. So you've expanded into other restaurants or other locations where you can get some good food.
Absolutely. And that's really happened. As I said, you kind of mentioned this kind of organic evolution of Cricket Square. And it's very much because it started with the pavilion, started with the brasserie at the heart of everything, and this desire to bring farm to table locally grown food. The brasserie is a fine dining restaurant, and we have a very busy, active tenant community here. So as the office space has developed, we know that people are looking for, maybe a quicker bite to eat, but you'll see that the rest of the outlets have evolved to serve those needs. So we have the market, which is adjoined and shares a kitchen with the brasserie. I think a lot of people are familiar with that. So we do, we serve breakfast and lunch. We're open till later in the afternoon. So great for sort of snacks, and all of that is homemade. So you've got everything from kind of protein bites, energy bites, some fantastic treats, amazing banana bread, which I have to tell you about. Incredible mango cheesecake and mousse, which is great. But we have a salad bar where you can come through and you can make your own custom salad, which is very popular. Again, with all homegrown produce and vegetables and fruits through there. There is always a hot bar and a hot option. We have a seafood special that runs daily. And then also wraps and sandwiches that will happen. And we have a grab and go section because we also appreciate that people are very, sometimes just literally need to pop their head in. grab something and leave. And actually, a lot of our tenants take us up on online ordering as well. So you can order online with us through the Brasserie website, and we do free deliveries within Cricket Square too. Because again, we know that, you know, in terms of convenience, people just really want something fast. We talked a little bit about Juiced. So Juiced is our daily is our juice bar that's open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. All juice specials, smoothies are available there, all freshly pressed and made in the mornings and throughout the course of the day. That actually becomes the Wicket Bar on Friday evenings. So we run a happy hour at the Wicket Bar on Friday nights from 5 until 7, which is pretty popular, both with our tenant community and people who kind of, you know, are not working in Cricket Square but enjoy all of the outlets. And then we have the Caboose, which is our smokehouse. So get a kind of an influence on all fresh produce and vegetables and things that are grown with us here. And then we have local sweet woods that are in that smokehouse that are producing all of our barbecue dishes on a daily basis. And that menu changes daily as well. So we got lots going on. And then also on site are our brasserie purveyors who provide the wine and spirits for the restaurant. So we have a fantastic new team member who joined us this year, actually, who's a master sommelier, a gentleman called Simone Ragusa, has come to us from Italy. And he is an absolute aficionado on wine and all things wine related. So he's running a monthly Swirl wine tasting series with us, so people can come and try new wines, learn different things about wines once a month with us at Swirl.
Okay, great. Well, this week is your anniversary week.
Yeah.
Yes, and you have lots going on besides what normally happens, which you just explained to us. You have a special week starting from today.
Yeah.
It has started already.
Yeah. No,
tell us
today. Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah. So we have a few all-week specials that are going on. So if you visit Juice this week, we're doing an anniversary special juice of the week, which is a mango tango smoothie. So that's a tropical blend of locally grown mangoes, our mangoes, orange, turmeric, and coconut jelly that comes from the Cocoa Bluff farm. And if you buy that this week, you'll get a limited edition reusable special anniversary cup. Just come down and see Minnie and the team. So that's all week on Monday through Friday. And then we're also featuring a very special menu in the restaurant, the Brasserie restaurant this week. It's $45 per person, and that is a fixed price menu. So it's featuring triggerfish schnitzel, which Chef Artie and the team have come up with. So the triggerfish has come in from Catch 1 and 2, I'm not sure which one, and they'll be catching that all kind of through the course of the week. But that's a really great menu and a really great price. So that's running all week. And then we've got a number of daily specials. So we're doing something a little bit different every day to celebrate. So if you visit the market today, you will receive 25% off drip coffee. If you come join us tomorrow, we're quite well known for our seasonal pop-up markets. We do farmers markets. We're hosting one tomorrow from 11:30 to 1:30. And that's our farm team who are going to be showcasing all of our homegrown local products. So our local produce, including our coconuts and our fruit and vegetables, which people can come and buy. The agricultural team are amazing at giving gardening tips. So actually, if you want some advice on how to grow things, you can pop by and ask them. Okay. And then also there'll be all of our Brasserie Bee products, which I mentioned, you know, they're everything from kind of beauty and wellness products through to actually the raw, amazing Brasserie honeycomb. And we'll be selling the Chateau Chook eggs as well. So that's with the farm team tomorrow from 11:30, and that's just on the steps of the Brasserie restaurant. On Wednesday, we've got a delicious market breakfast special. So we're doing smoked brisket, which will come from the Caboose, and eggs Benedict from our Chateau Chook's eggs, and that's available Wednesday morning at the market for breakfast. Thursday, the Caboose are hosting a lunch special. So Dean Max, I think I mentioned, is not with us all the time, but he will be here this week. And he'll be cooking up a storm in the Caboose on Thursday. And so that's our lunch special at the Caboose. And then on Thursday evening, Simone Ragusa will be celebrating our 25 years with a very special edition of our Swirl wine tasting. So we will be looking and tasting 5 exceptional wines from California. So that's Napa Valley, Santa Barbara, Alexander Valley, Sonoma County, and Domaine Chandon. And those wine tastings samples come with very special pairings that have been prepared with produce from our garden, prepared by Chef Artie. So there's seasonal pairings with all of those. And that's, we do have a few tickets left for that. Our swirl wine tastings always sell out, but if people are interested, they can get in touch with us. Tickets for that are $65 a head. And then Friday, we're rounding it all out with a very special dinner. It's a certified Angus beef dinner. So Chef Dean Max and Artie and Chef Artie and Simone will be preparing and hosting a really super dinner. So that's 4 courses, each featuring certified Angus beef, fresh catch from our boats, and seasonal produce from our garden. So that will include our brasserie bees honey and our coconut products. And then the wine pairings are from Simone, and I know he's got some very special wines lined up for this Friday. So yeah, it's a really exciting dinner. We're looking forward to that one. That's Friday evening from 6 o'clock, and the tickets are $175 a head. And if people would like more information about the program and the schedule, because we've got a lot going on this week, they can find out more on the Brasserie website, which is brasserie-cayman.com, or they can drop an email to reservations@brasserie-cayman.com, and we can send them more information. We have the full schedule lined up there, and we're very happy to email it out to anybody that wants to see it too.
Okay. It's amazing. I have to move my bedroom someplace closer because I wouldn't have to go home for lunch, breakfast, or dinner. Everything's right there.
It is.
And it's healthy. And there's a gym on the site as well.
There is.
Absolutely.
I'm amazed with this wellness in Cricket Square. You know, it's not just good eating, but we have wellness. Can you speak to wellness?
Yeah.
What do you have? You know, and so I've seen some bikes and what's happening. Yeah.
So we have the club, which was open, I believe, in 2019. We currently have a team, including myself, of 12 instructors, personal trainers that operate out of the club. We have a very diverse class schedule that is offered. 23 classes we offer every week, and they range from anything from yoga to Bollywood Indian dance to Latin dance to spinning to boot camp to jump rope classes, abs classes. We have, a class that's akin to essentially taking a nap. It's a meditation class that we offer Sunday mornings. So there's something for everyone. I always tell people that our tagline should be the place where everyone belongs, because there's something for everyone to do. And it's not just, again, the people who like to lift weights, but there are some of our members who only come to the more restorative and meditative classes. They'll come to yoga faithfully. They'll come to meditation faithfully. And that's their wellness. That's what they enjoy doing. You have some people who come and they just dance all week. So they're doing the Bollywood Indian dancing. They're doing the Latin dancing. And one of the things that, Nikki touched on earlier is that the inquiries that we get from people about, how to grow certain fruits and vegetables and in the best way, at the core of wellness is education. Right? It's empowering people to be able to be self-sufficient. And that's another thing that we do a lot of within the club and within Cricket Square, through lunch and learn programs, through collaborations with hospitals in the area, through biometric screenings, making sure that people know their numbers so they are empowered to make some sort of healthy change. And so we really are, yes, we're a gym in a traditional sense, but we are so much more than that, and that we are a holistic wellness center that is the heart of wellness sort of physically within Cricket Square. And even our collaborations, Nikki mentioned the nutrition plans and how there's such fine attention to the detail of everything that's served here and the organic nature of everything, and how we now have a healthy meal plan delivery service that we're piloting this month, and just working with a registered dietitian on delivering certain meals that would keep that waistline where it should be and or where it needs to be. And that is also something that we deliver then to our tenants here within Cricket Square.
Excellent, excellent.
And I think Tim
Nikki,
touched on the kind of the sustainability element as well, and how this sort of wellness really is a thread that weaves throughout. So one of the other things that we have is we encourage people to walk as much as possible. It's beautifully landscaped and shaded to encourage that around Cricket Square. But we also have a number of sort of alternative transportation options as well. So you'll see if you come down here, we've got bikes that are available to hire. We have scooters that are on site. And we also have our Cricket Square shuttles. We have a couple of, I think we have 3 shuttles that will take tenants of Cricket Square outside of Cricket Square, so within a mile of Cricket Square. So, I mean, we all know that parking and traffic can be quite problematic. You can grab a shuttle here and travel within a mile of Cricket Square to run your errands, take your doctor's appointments. You just call them, the numbers on the shuttle, and they will come and pick you up and then bring you back as and when you're ready to return. So we're trying to get people to maybe use their cars a little less, get out on foot, and when the weather, is a little too warm for that, then we have our shuttle service that can also run you around.
you actually read my mind, because the question I was gonna ask you is, with all this activity happening and all these people coming, where are they gonna park?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have ample parking, but we would like people to really think about everything like I said, we talked about the importance of farm to table and actually the impact on the planet, which is is key. We'd love people to think about alternative transportation. We know that it's not always convenient for people to share transport, or to once they're into Cricket Square, you may need to run an errand or get to school, and we recognize that. So we're really thinking about what are some of those needs that people have that make it less,
And
you need the car less. And we also have in partnership with CUC, we have electric charging on site as well, so if people have electric vehicles, they can charge them here.
and I also recommend walking. I think we don't walk enough in the Cayman Islands. I remember traveling to large cities, and to get from the train to where I was going to the meeting, it was a good 20-minute walk, but I felt good afterwards. And I think that we can encourage some more walking. I think we will all benefit from it. And the way I see things are laid out in Cricket Square, I think you have to walk around, and that's good. There are a lot of trees. I love the foliage. It was well designed, and just looking behind you, where you see those trees that are blowing in the wind, that's caused a little mic problems earlier.
Sorry about
that. But that's nature, and we need nature. We don't want smoke coming in our eyes and ears. And I love the outside. I think that the layout of the whole restaurant and the food and everything's was designed specifically for that. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Very much in terms of space planning and landscaping, it's walkable, it's shaded. A lot of thought goes into not only that landscaping planning, but actually the buildings, the tenants' needs, but the sustainability as well. So you'll see if you drive past on Elgin Avenue that we have our next phase building is under construction, due for completion early in 2025. Our new tenants will be moving in then. It's Pavilion East, and it's a 7-story building. It's being designed and built entirely to LEED Gold standards, which means it is the most sustainable building you can build. It will be certified LEED Gold as well. So a lot of thought and planning and effort is going into making sure it is the most energy efficient building. And that the same as we have with 6, which is our second most recent building. So a lot of thought goes into that too. We're thinking about wastewater and energy efficiency and power usage, and where we can pull solar and where that can be implemented. And space planning is hugely important to us, but a huge part of the experience here.
Before we wrap up, I want you to do me a favor, please, a special surprise for you. We have a nice short video. I want you to just explain to our listeners on the radio what we are looking at.
Yeah.
And here it is.
So what you're seeing here is one of our harvest dinners. We run these throughout the course of our harvest season, which with Cayman's harvest season, the most bountiful produce is between November and April, May. So you can see preparation here happening for our February harvest dinner. We host these in the garden where Tim and I are sat this afternoon. We start them with a cocktail reception and those delicious kind of seasonal canapes that the kitchen team put together. Our chef and Dean often comes for these events. And then those dinners then move through to the caboose, which we talked about as our smokehouse. But they're all under the stars, seasonal produce. Quite frequently, we're joined by international visiting chefs. So our February dinner was in partnership with Chef Niven Patel, who was a former chef at the brasserie. And what you're looking at now is the garden where we're sat, which is just beautiful in the evenings as well. So people all year round, if you wish to, you can dine out here as long as it's not raining. And also the guests here are moving across to the caboose for the harvest dinner. We serve those family style. Dean is going to be with us this week to celebrate our 25 years. And we'll be planning out the 23-24 season during this visit. So readers and viewers can keep an eye on our website and you'll see some of the events that are coming up in the 23-24 season. But they're very popular events. They feature all of our best of Cayman seasonal produce and prepared right in front of you, which is pretty cool to see happening.
Amazing. I'm just looking at the video and it's it's amazing. I want to be in the next one, it's not working, but sort of guess there. Okay. This is amazing. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on the conversation today. And I want to invite you back at some point. I wish you all the best in your celebrations.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you and your viewers over the course of this week. Like I say, if people are interested in learning more or finding out more about the schedule this week, if they visit brasserie-cayman.com, they'll find all the details there.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the guests, thanks for coming on. And
thank you,
see you next time, Nikki.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Take care.
Okay, very good.
Bye now.
Thank you for joining Cayman Conversations as we seek to elevate the level of media conversations with our special guests from our walk of life. Remember to like, share, and follow Caymanian Times social media pages. Don't forget to pick up your copy of our Wednesday and Friday newspapers at locations across the islands. Cayman Conversations is a production of the Caymanian Times newspaper. Have a great evening, and remember to drive safely on our roads. Goodbye.
I see Jupiter and Mars from far, and Saturn too. The Milky Way looks bright tonight. We were created to shine too. All the world loves a child when he smiles. All the world loves a child when he smiles. We're looking for love, but is there hope? This world is a place that can be so cold. There is one suggestion I'd like to propose. I'd like to rule the world for a day. 'Cause if I did, there'd be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month would feed, there'd be no more greed and we'd all do the right thing. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I teach them science and biology. How can one you'd stand still and another dance? All the world deserves to smile for a while. All the world deserves to smile for a while, yeah. We're looking for love, but is there hope? This world is a place that can be so cold. There is one suggestion I'd like to propose, yeah. I'd like to rule the world for a day. 'Cause if I did, there'd be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month would feed, there'd be no more greed, and we'd all do the right thing. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Let's change some ways somehow. Change some ways somehow. The future is right now. The future is right now. I think I just figured it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'd like to rule the world for a day. 'Cause if I did, there'd be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month would feed, there'd be no more greed, and we'd all do the right thing. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hold my hand tonight. I'm so in love with you. Make me feel alright. I'm so in love with you. Time goes on and seasons, oh, they change. One thing remains the same. I'm so in love with you. Sometimes it's hard to give of yourself. It's not what you want, it's what you get. Love the one you with, you'll see it will fit. Time you love or more for what you need. Hold my hand tonight. I'm so in love with you. Make me feel alright. I'm so in love with you. Time goes on and seasons, they change. One thing remains the same. I'm so in love with you. Sometimes it's hard to give of yourself. Sometimes it's hard to give. It's not what you want, it's what you get. It's what you get. It's what you get. It's what you get. Love the one you with, you'll see it will fit. It's what you get every time. In time you love her more for what you did. Well, hold my hand tonight. I'm so in love with you. in love with you. I'm so in love with you. Mancy boat in the sound, boy. Mancy boat in the sound. When you talk about blue swab head all around. Mancy boat in the sound, boy. Mancy boat in the sound. When you talk about blue swab head all around. Mancy boat in the sound, boy. Mancy boat in the sound. When you talk about blue swab head all around. Lambert said to Bertie,
Boy, give me a soldier head.
Bertie said to Lambert,
Boy, all the scars is dead. Mancy.
Mancy boat in the sound, boy. Mancy boat in the sound.
Mancy.
When you talk about blue swab head all around. Mancy boat in the sound, boy. Mancy boat in the sound. When you talk about blue swab head all around. Mancy said to Lambert,
Boy, give me a soldier bait.
Lambert said to Mancy,
Boy, all the soldiers is dead.
all the soldiers is dead, boy, all the soldiers is dead. Bertie said to Lambert, boy, all the soldiers is dead, all the soldiers is dead, all the soldiers is dead.
Mancy.
Mancy boat in the sound, boy, Mancy boat in the sound.
Mancy.
Mancy boat in the sound, boy, Mancy boat in the sound. When you talk about blue swab head all around. Blue swab head all around. Blue swab head all around. Mancy!
Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. You're a Naples. Class in session now. I hope you're ready to move. It's a dancing session now. I know you're in the mood. Follow the teacher now. Swing towel and follow procedure now. Shake feathers and follow the leader now. James Carey, the soca teacher now. Back it up and push it out and swing it up and bring it back down and put on your face and match up the face and turn around and roll up your waist and back it up now, push it up now, swing it up and bring it back round and turn around and spin around and slow it down. Class in session now, I hope you're ready to move. It's a dancing session now, I know you're in the mood. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. You're a nigga. Take time and wine like you have something to prove. Waistline, 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 I like it how you move. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Work that areas. My girl, come to the front now. Push up your hand now. Show off your work now. Push up your grade now. You teach your class now. Exam time now. Show them your pass now. One in the grade now. Back it up and push it out and swing it up and bring it back down and put on your face and match up the place and turn around and roll up your waist and back it up now. Push it up now. Swing it up and bring it back down and turn around and spin around and slow it down. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. You're a nigga. Come to the front now. Push up your hand now. Show off your work now. Push up your grade, push celebrate now.
Sometimes I feel low. 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 And I go. 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 I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna walk away to the break. Oh, I see a brighter day with me. Sometimes I feel low. And I go. 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 I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna walk away to the fray, so I see a brighter day with me. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna walk away to the fray, oh, I see a brighter day with me. Sometimes I feel low. And I go. 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 I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna be happy. I wanna be free. I wanna walk away to the break, oh, I see a brighter day with me. Sometimes I feel low.
Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Sometimes I feel low. Yeah. Talking like, yeah. Let me break it down. Check it out. I don't need to be on top. I just need to be there when the beat gon' drop. Hit me with the music so my feet don't stop. 345, I represent the realest rock. Life is incredible. We be consuming these beats like they edible. Level up. On this track, getting better, bro. Like I sing shots, slinging rocks, we gon' let it go. Pop, pop, pop. You better know. I be on top. Yo, pass me the rock. Yeah, never let go, cause the love in your soul gotta burn, gotta glow. Never let go. 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 Never let go, cause we got a country to wake up. Everybody start play, wake up. Cause the youth them is wasting. Please can we save them, come on. We got a country to wake up. Everybody start play, wake up. Cause the youth them is wasting. Please can we save them, come on. We got a country to wake up. Everybody start play, wake up. Cause the youth them is wasting. Please can we save them, come on. The pressure may grab at you, try to put you in a chokehold. But this is what happens when life is a savage. It's bound to bring damage, so hold on, never let go. 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 Never let go.
wanna love you more.
A man looks to his woman, says I don't know what you see in me. You make me feel this way. Many years go by, we live, we laugh, we cry. She said, from the start you stole my heart. I wanna love you more and more. And don't you know I wanna love you more and more. Friends in a car, one says he's going far to make a better way. The other he exclaimed, I wish I felt the same. No